Welcome to Collaborating with Peer Support Providers, part of the Pathways Transition Video Brief series. In this video brief, Dr. Ajit Jetmalani, Director of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry at Oregon Health and Science University, Martin Rafferty, CEO of Youth Era, and Lacey Kendrick Burke-Deshary, former Executive Director of Youth Move National, discuss the benefits of peer support for young people with mental health challenges. The presenters provided guidance to service providers on collaborating with peer support providers and discuss how peer support providers can benefit from collaborating with other service providers.
The other wellness strategy, in addition to exercise, good nutrition, sleep, and avoiding substance abuse, of course, those are pretty broad and large categories that are hard for adults to manage themselves, right? Is seeking the companionship and peer relationships that are positive. Helping youth to determine when they're in toxic relationships and to try and disengage from those toxic relationships is really key, because when a youth or any of us are involved with other positive people, it affects our mood, it affects our decision making, and it affects the outcomes of our life. And we have to help people find where they might achieve that. So, for instance, in many communities now, we have youth and young adult programs that are put on by Youth Move and other organizations to connect in a safe environment for homeless youth or others, in places where they can meet people who've had similar life experiences, can identify with the challenges they may have faced, and therefore are more likely to be felt as legitimate mentors and peers.
One great alternative to medications, or just using medications, is peer support, is having young people who've gone through the mental illness that another youth is going through and coming and talking to them about what's going on. Peer support has helped so many of our young people really step through some of the barriers of dealing with everyday life. I think that sometimes it can be great as an add-on for youth who are taking medications, and sometimes it's the good enough of a push to help youth who would be using medications not to use them, because they get these coping mechanisms. They feel like they're not alone. They're guided through a very hard path to find unless you've walked it yourself. So we found that peer support is an excellent alternative or an excellent add-on. Youth Move Oregon works with young people 14 to 25. And the reason we have that as an age group is because those are the 8 years of transition. So youth are transitioning from being children into becoming young adults. It's also the age group that is notorious for falling out of systems, the mental health system being one of them. So at 17, 18, 19, you'll see the numbers drop in participation in the mental health system. And it's because young people have stigma and other barriers that they feel from the system, and so they want to get away from it. So we wanted to create a program that would come beside young people earlier than that age and at that age to help bridge the system to the youth a little bit better. And that's really what we're all about. We do teach leadership skills to the young people. We believe that young people should become leaders in their own lives and then become leaders in the system. But our second priority is being that bridge from the youth to the mental health system itself.
Young people can be supported by peer advocates in a way that providers might not necessarily be able to provide support, because there is that shared experience, and that shared lived experience can be so powerful. I know that for myself, I would not be here today without the support that I have had from my fellow peers. And there is something very powerful about being able to share an experience and have that other person say, yes, me too, I understand, and you know that they do. That's not something that a professional provider can necessarily do. There's a lot of codes of ethics and professional limitations about a person being able to share their own experience with a young person, but peer advocates can share that experience back and forth.
Discussion questions and resources on collaborating with peer support providers can be found through the link on this slide. A live link can be found on the YouTube channel description of this video brief. We'd like to acknowledge support from the National Institute of Disability, Independent Living, and Rehabilitation Research and the Center for Mental Health Services, Substance Abuse, and Mental Health Services Administration.